Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Rose and I'm going to be talking about my most disappointing books of 2019. Now, these are books that I read in 2019, not that they were published in that year, and it's just my subjective opinion on what I thought was most disappointing. Some of these perhaps do not have the super lowest rating. Most of them do, but some of them maybe don't, just because it just was the expectation of them being really good that disappointed me, but most of them do have low rating. But it's not my worst books, it's just the ones that I was most disappointing to read because I expected better things of them. So, first of all, I'm just going to tell them in the order that I read them. So we started with Digital Fortress by Dan Brown. It was my first Dan Brown book. Since then I've read Angels and Demons and the Código da Vinci Code. And this one I actually read in 1 day and a half, which is very unusual for me because I'm a slow reader, but I just literally read all day, and because it was a thriller and small chapters, it just kept wanting to read more and more and more. And yeah, my heart was beating very fast. I'm not really used to reading thrillers, so this was kind of a new thing for me. And therefore I read it very fast, but at the same time, just nothing much happened. And then the ending was like really high stakes, but then how to solve it was just too easy. Yeah, it was too easy, basically. It was too easy in the sense that suddenly everything started turning out okay. And then the second time is also that they had to solve something that I, as a reader, could very easily solve from the beginning. And it took them literally 3 pages to come up with the result. And I don't think it's because I am good at it. I literally am not. I just thought that it was very easy. And sadly, or at least sadly, I was lucky enough to see the twist of it and the result of the mystery that they couldn't solve and figure out that I would solve everything. And it was like, oh, only 10 minutes. And just, I already knew. So I was just like, okay, let's see if they figure it out. I don't know. It was very disappointing for that reason. So sadly. Also, it used the same plot twist that Dan Brown seems to use in all of his books, which is a shame because it's a really, really good plot twist. But if he uses it in every book, then at the end of the day, you're kind of expecting it, so it becomes less good. But yeah, this book also had it. And yeah, disappointing. The next one is Artemis Fowl by Eoin Colfer. This one is one of the ones that I don't think is a bad book. It's just that I was disappointed by it, but mainly because I wasn't the target audience. So I thought that it would be really fun because 12-year-old mastermind solves mysteries and is just multi-billionaire and it's really smart. So I thought that was really, really cool. Evil mastermind, sorry. A very, very good premise, but then it's just a middle grade book, and I thought that I could deal with it knowing that it was a middle grade book, but it was way too many jokes that I didn't find funny because I'm not the target audience, and just too much of the silly thing between, conversations and stuff. A lot of parts that I just wanted to just literally skim through or rather skip, but I didn't. I had to skim through them, and I thought it was very boring, even if it's a very small book. But I think I would actually recommend it to a younger audience. It wasn't for me, sadly. The next one is The Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And this is one of the few nonfiction that I read in the year. And I think that I actually did like the concept that he presented about the ego being the enemy and just basically how we react to stuff because of our own pride or ego, or that we feel bad within ourselves because of our ego. So I thought that was really interesting, but I was very disappointed in how he tackled the subject, and he basically, I feel like he only did a few interviews. Like, he just came up with a concept, and then he did a few interviews of people that agreed with him, and then gave a few examples in their life, but he didn't actually investigate the subject matter of what he was explaining thoroughly. He didn't do tests, he didn't investigate, he didn't develop any way of actually dealing with it and changing and getting to a different, place in life where the ego is not your enemy. He just basically presented an idea. I just felt that it was a draft more than a book. So that's sad. It was just like basically an introduction that was turned into a whole book. So yeah, disappointed about that. Next one was Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. And this one was so sad because Dear John was now, that's how disappointing it was. Oh my god. Was one of my favorite all-time rom-com movies ever. Like, this one is one of the ones that I would watch and rewatch, and I would cry every single time, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing. And it's just, I connected so much with it. I have the whole soundtrack in my playlist nonstop. And so I read the book and I was very excited for it. And I don't know, I think part of it is that I found it boring because I knew the story so well. But second, it's just there wasn't more. I think I actually liked the movie more than I liked the book. And it's just, I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't connect with the book like I connected with the movie, and it kind of ruined the movie for me, so I'm very sad. And it wasn't, I gave it 3 stars, it wasn't a bad book. It's just, I was expecting so much more, sadly. This is literally a video about my high expectations instead of my disappointments. I don't know. I guess there's a link there, a very, very strong link. But sadly, it did ruin the movie for me, so that is very, very sad indeed. Next up is The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton. This one, oh my god, I should have known, because this one, I picked it up from the recommendations, so the non-recommendations of some booktubers, that they said that they didn't really like it and that they didn't recommend it. But they said because it is too flowery, too descriptive, too focused about beauty, too much about the dresses and so I read all of this, oh, I don't recommend it because, and I thought, oh, that book is for me, because that sounded absolutely glorious and I just wanted to read about a world where everything was beautiful and the dresses and just, I don't know. So I picked it up despite their non-recommendation. And alas, I was wrong. I mean, I did like that part of it. It's just that nothing else happened. Literally, nothing freaking happened. I had read 100 pages of grueling, just pushing myself to read, and I was like, nothing has happened yet. I was telling my boyfriend, like, literally, it's just nothing. It's still at the beginning, and it's 100 pages in already. And then by the end, some things did start happening and there was some more action and stuff, but still I thought it was extremely slow paced, and what did actually eventually ended up happening wasn't that thrilling at all. And I think that just the beauty part of this book is also so dark and gruesome that actually it made me dislike the beauty part that I thought that I was going to like. It ended up not being, I didn't even like it because of that reason, so that was very sad. And yeah, very disappointing. Then lastly, the last one, and the one that is actually one of the favorites of many people that I know and many booktubers, was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Carrol. I dislike this book so much. I just don't know. I don't know why other people like it. I just couldn't stand it. It was way too messy, which I don't think I didn't think I would dislike, because I don't mind something messy and just because it's supposed to be in a dream or something, right? And it can be very imaginative and artistic. But it was just too much. And I think that what pushed me to the edge, what I really disliked, was how rude Alice was all the time and how entitled she was to things work her way, and just basically how rude she was. And she literally was mean and she did things that she shouldn't have done, and I don't know. I didn't like it. And everyone in this book was, not only her, everyone in this book was freaking rude. You would meet someone and then they would just be rude at you and really angry. And so I didn't find it enchanting like I thought I would. I didn't find it eye-opening in the terms of, wow, look, like how imaginative and the world could be different. I also can imagine very weird stuff. And I don't know, I didn't find it groundbreaking at all. I only found it uncomfortable to read and not worth the uncomfortableness of it. So yeah. Sadly, very disappointing book for me. I think I will be reading the second book through the Looking Glass, because I think that there is a theme there about time, right? I still haven't read it, but I've seen the play and I know that it was the Mr. Time something, and I think that can be very interesting. So I do want to read that one, I think, but I haven't yet because I'm also dreading it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if some of your favorites are in this video, especially the last one. I imagine that maybe is in some of your favorites. And yes, let me know if you agree with me as well, that some of these books you also found disappointing. Thank you for watching. Bye.